Hey guys, it's Joe Tunney here at Honda of Seattle in downtown Seattle, and we've just taken in a really marvelous trade, a 2000 Honda S2000. One owner with only 69,000 miles, and very, very difficult to find black on black. Now, the story of the S2000, it's one of the more important stories in Honda's history, and one of the more important stories in the car business. It was actually designed by Shigeru Uehara, one of the most famous designers in all of the Japanese automobile history. He worked for Honda from 1971 all the way up until 2008. He is famous for producing three important cars for Honda: the Acura Integra Type R, this Honda S2000, and the Acura NSX. And all three are considered kind of holy grail cars in the high performance set. The S2000 is totally different than anything else Honda had at the time. But one thing that's really surprising for a lot of folks, this is actually the fourth generation of this body style. In fact, the very first car that Honda ever made was the S360, and they made that back in 1962. They never came out with it. The 360, just a 0.36 liter motorcycle engine, right? Honda, the biggest motorcycle manufacturer in the world, was using their motorcycle motors and putting them into small vehicles. They had a small rear-wheel drive car with a convertible, and they had made this platform ready to roll, but they decided on a pickup truck variation of that same chassis. They called it the T360, and that was actually became the first vehicle by Honda ever sold retail. And then the following year, in 1963, they had the S500 with an all-new half-liter motorcycle engine, and so the S500 was the first car that Honda ever made. Again, rear-wheel drive and convertible top, and extremely valuable today. In fact, it was chain drive since it was based on a motorcycle. Later, they came out with the S600. The S600 was the first Honda to ever go 100 miles an hour. It came in both a coupe and a convertible version. And then the last variation of that body style was the S800 that came out in 1968. And again, it's a very valuable car. In fact, the most collectible variations of that car are worth over $100,000 today. I would think this is a car also that's going to be extremely prized in the collector's market moving forward, just because it does so many things, even by today's standards, so well. This is a 2-liter engine that puts out 240 horsepower naturally aspirated and extremely reliably. And so 120 horsepower per liter just simply dominates anything else still. And so there is not a competitive import car that's generating that kind of horsepower per liter now. And here we are 15 years removed from the 2000 model year in which this car came out. Its braking is superb. In fact, its braking still is on par with many high-end exotics that are brand new now. And again, this is a 2000 vehicle. And so limited numbers, the storied history of the most prized designer probably in the history of Japan, and then that rear-wheel drive platform, a great look. Just it has everything going for it to become an important collectible in the future. And if you're thinking about starting a collection, getting a one-owner, low-mile original car is just getting very, very difficult to do, especially one that is completely original as this one is. I'm going to pop the hood, and we're going to take a look at some of that originality. When these first came out, I bought one back in 2001. I bought a 2000 in Silverstone on black, and it was as thrilling a car as I certainly have ever owned. And the resale value was quite impressive. I had it for a year and a half, and I lost almost essentially nothing in value. And I think that the owner of this car is going to enjoy that same kind of return on their investment. And if they don't drive it all that much, I think they're going to find that there's probably some substantial gains to be had. Now, one thing about these older Hondas that's nice is it has its factory VIN sticker on every panel on the car. And so that's a testament to the originality of the car. So when I see this VIN sticker, I know this is the original hood that originally came with this car. I also see the original VIN sticker on both of the fenders and on the bumper as well. So again, very, very difficult to locate an S2000 with even completely original bumpers above and beyond completely original metalwork. The engine compartment, Very, very clean. We don't detail engine compartments. We just take them in as they come in. And this one looks immaculate. Zero oil of any kind. It's just really, really in exceptional condition. And if you've had the chance to look at enough S2000, you'll realize that exceptional condition is very difficult to come by. I'm going to open up the trunk. The trunk release is in the top part of the center console. It's original S2000 floor mats. Maybe they're a little bit worse for wear. They're a little bit tired right there. The passenger side one actually looks like it's brand new. And so, as is often the case with S2000s, they tend to be popular with people who just like to be alone when they drive. Again, the original VIN sticker on the trunk lid and the original VIN sticker on the rear bumper as well. And you will discover, if you haven't discovered already, a minuscule percentage of surviving S2000s have every single VIN sticker on every single panel. It's just how it is. Even ones with clean Carfaxes, they've just been banged around. They've been owned by somebody who just wanted to discover what this high-performance rear-wheel drive small car will do, and they discovered that it'll go right into a guardrail, right into the neighbor's mailbox, whatever it is. Something bad has happened in the car's life, but nothing bad has happened in this car's life. Let's jump inside and take a peek. So a tiny wheelbase, only 94.5 inches, means a tiny interior compartment, and that's why a lot of folks like to drive solo in these vehicles, because there just isn't a lot of passenger space. Also, they're loud, they're visceral, they buzz, they have a lot of vibrations and what have you. It's awesome for the driver, kind of like being in a motorcycle, but for the passenger, sometimes it's a little bit too cramped, it's a little bit too busy, it's a little bit too difficult. But you know, if you've got a taste for adventure and you like the real deal that the S2000 is, then you'll just learn to live with whatever's going on, because that's just how an S2000 is. And so, push button start. So you can see some of that vibration happening right here in the shift knob. And again, it's not a bad thing. Turn the radio down. It's just the personality of this car. It's a very, very light car. Actually, it's not even super duper light. It's 2,840 pounds or thereabouts. With all the modern safety advances and such, like airbags and anti-lock brakes, and the frame of this car is actually very, very rigid as well. They call it a high X frame. And so it's super rigid. Super strong. It's designed to absorb a lot of energy from an accident. I mean, there's a lot of positives to say about the actual chassis stiffness and the chassis dynamics of this car. But it does vibrate, it does buzz, and we were getting some gas. And so this has a 9,000 RPM red line, and so I'm gonna rev it up just to about 5,000 RPM, and the car's completely warm. I don't want you to worry that I'm revving up a cold engine, but just to give you a sense of what it sounds like at 5,000 RPM. So it's a pretty intense motor, but you got to remember, at 5,000 RPM, it's only roughly halfway home. It goes over 9,000 RPM, and very comfortably so. For those of you who've had the chance to really explore what an S2000 can do, it's not like just because 8,000 or 8,500 sounds like a high RPM that you're being disruptive or damaging to the engine. It's built to do exactly that. It's just as comfortable going 8,500 RPM as a conventional car is going 4,500 RPM or 5,000 RPM. So it's just how it's built. So feel free, if you're buying one of these, go ahead and rev it for all it's worth. It's built with that in mind. Extremely fast, outstanding acceleration, amazing brakes, easy as you can possibly imagine to take around turns, super, super fast. It's a great car. It's a classic. It really is. trick is finding one that's completely original. The only downside on this car for me, and maybe others would see it as an upside, the stereo, the factory radio isn't that nice of a radio, and so a lot of people like to upgrade it, as this one has been upgraded. It's got a nice Kenwood deck. Me personally, I'd prefer it just bone stock, like completely stock with stock radio. But I think for somebody making this a daily driver, they're going to enjoy it more with the Kenwood upgrade radio. This car is really in immaculate condition. There's a little bit of bolster wear on the driver's seat, a couple little marks here and there on the paint, again, just to testify to its originality that they haven't been painted over. It's as nice as an original S2000 you're ever going to find. One owner and 69,000 miles. I'll be honest, we could charge $25,000 for this car and we'd find a buyer for it, especially in this market. We understand, though, that it's just one car, and we're not a museum. We're not here to hold on to it. Our price of $17,837 is honestly, for what this car is, maybe it's not the single least expensive one. Maybe there's one with a little bit lower miles, tiny bit discounted price or what have you. But to find black on black with these amazing miles, one owner, it's just never, ever going to find another one like it. 25 grand might be too little for this car, and that's no joke for those seriously out there on the market taking a look for one. A neat opportunity for somebody who wants either, kind of at a borderline collector's quality car, or at the absolute pinnacle of what a nice daily driver would be for well under $20,000. This is a car, if you live in Texas, California, Florida, one of the beautiful warm weather states south of us, you can buy this car with a lot of confidence. If you'd like us to get a buyer's inspection done for you at any other dealership, obviously this is a giant Honda dealership, but if you feel more comfortable somewhere else, then that's what we want to do for you. But trust me, this is as nice an S2000 as you're ever going to find. It's going to exceed any expectations that you might possibly have for it. And more importantly, it's just going to be a really, really fun car that you're going to love to own. If you have any questions about it, please feel free to reach out to me anytime. My name is Joe Tunney. I'm the pre-owned director here at Honda of Seattle and Toyota of Seattle. If you'd like to give me a call, you can reach me at 425-894-8230, or just drop me an email anytime at joet@hondaofseattle.com.